Hello everybody, Dodger here, and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. Today we are checking out a new car that has come out in the modding community for Assetto Corsa. I've been keeping a close eye on the modded releases just to see if something that looked complete and ready to be checked out ever breached the surface, and this seems to be the first one that I've seen. This is the Shelby Cobra with the 427. There is a regular version, road car version. There is the SC version, which is this, and there is a, I want to say Spec 1 version, which is like kind of the in-between. This one is probably as close as you're going to get to the full-on race car version of the car. It's got vintage racing tires on it, so it's essentially what you would see racing. I have driven the car a little bit, just to kind of make sure everything was checking out and make sure it was ready enough to be shown. I don't want to discredit anybody by showing off their stuff before it's done, and I can tell you already, it's very impressive. There's some stuff that needs work, but just I'm sitting here just staring at it, and the model itself is amazingly well done. You would instantly believe that this was a car that was part of the game and was developed by the developers, because the level of detail is fantastic. I mean, just look at the AN fittings going down into the bumper there for the oil cooler, I would presume. Everything about it is just extremely well detailed. Everything's very smooth. It's very, very wisely modeled as far as their polygon use, because I'm not getting any frame rate issues with it, but it looks phenomenal. Alright, enough of the looks. Let's take this guy out for a drive. We are on the historic Monza circuit because we need a historic circuit for a historic car. So the first thing note, as far as the unfinished things go, it says right on the website when you go to download this, the sounds are temporary. So they're using some publicly available sounds for the car. They fit it pretty well, but definitely not up to the standards of today's Sims. Another thing to note as we go here, and I almost stall, the model of like the visors and everything, the transparency on those, everything about that is just incredibly well done. So as we get going here on the Monza circuit, you would expect this to be a pretty scary car to drive, and at times it is, but it's not undrivable. It's I would say it's even maybe a little bit more drivable than, say, the historic Formula cars, which is a little surprising since this has pretty much all of the power but none of the fine-tuned suspension. First thing I've noticed is, yeah, you see right there, under braking, very floaty. Part of that is very soft suspension. Part of it is, I want to say, probably just a little bit of unbalanced suspension geometry. Something just doesn't seem perfectly right there. We'll notice it again once we get up to really high speed. And this car will go really high speed. And this old Monza track gives you such a great sense of speed. Yo, easy guy. Yeah, like I was saying, it's just super easy to drive now. It takes a little getting used to, a little finesse. Let me actually pull up my Delta and stuff so I can fine-tune my driving. Pull up the pedals. Let's see, I would like just the Delta for now. There it is. Okay, there we go. Watching everything, make sure everything's working alright. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure my wheel was all calibrated correctly. I've been having some issues with that as I've been transferring wheel settings between games. One thing I've noted, I actually read about this on the Assetto Corsa forums. The meter on the right, that is actually the force feedback meter, and I peak it pretty much constantly. A lot of people say that's probably not the way to have it. All we got is 4 years, so that's why I'm hanging here. But personally, I prefer the settings kind of where I have them. Wow. I was peaking force feedback right there. Oh man, very, 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 very hard to correct once you get out of control. Like I was saying, I like the feel of the strong force feedback under braking and out of the turns, so I'm a little bit more willing to accept that I'm probably clipping some of the force feedback, mid-turn, apex, stuff like that. I have been sim racing for, I don't know, 15 years now, so I've kind of gotten a little bit of a typical feel I like in the force feedback, and it may not always be the most realistic, but it's the most helpful to me for driving. You can see all the way through there it was maxed out. Alright, so back onto the car. Let's see if I can focus on maybe putting in a couple of good laps. So I will shut up and drive, basically. Down to third in here. See, that's where this car really likes to show off its oversteer. It's on braking and part throttle. I was actually not having quite this much trouble earlier, so maybe I've messed up the setup somehow. Right, down a second here, very hard on the brakes, but cannot give it full braking power. You'll just lock up, spin, and go all sorts of places. Off-turn acceleration, plenty of grip. I mean, it will not break loose out of the turn. That's a little surprising to me. I expected with so much torque and so little weight, we would have a lot of tire spin. Not getting very much of that, which is a little surprising. Maybe feels a little bit wrong to me. High speed, you can see kind of a wobbly feel, especially on the braking. There we go. Once you find the apex, it's pretty much just power out of it. You don't have to feather the throttle at all. See how crazy it is to drive in those slight turns. It's very wishy-washy and all over the place. Not manning the throttle there, not because of tire spin, but just because of losing the nose. Which isn't completely surprising. Like I said, very old school style suspension, lots of travel, and just poor chassis stiffness. Better into here. Kind of have to predict the back end's going to come around. Get back to the power. I love this circuit so much that it's probably skewing my perspective on how much I love the car, but it is fantastic to drive as well. So you'll see here what I mean. Full on the throttle. A little bit of oversteer, but nothing like you would probably expect. I believe this car is making well over 500 horsepower and a good bit more torque as well. I mean, it's not a super light car, but I wouldn't say it's extremely heavy either. Whoa. Can I save it? Well saved, but not a great result there. Alright. It's a ditchless lap. Try again. Here we go. Floating down the front stretch. Really starts to rock back and forth. Probably doing about 170 right now. Braking early. Want to be on the brakes as we enter the turn, kind of trail braking to keep the back end from doing that. Such a hairy car to drive. That's so rewarding too. Probably could have stayed in third. Oh man, you see it dart to the inside there? That's completely uncontrollable. It would be very hard to be doing any kind of side-by-side racing with it. That's for sure. Oh, understeer, oversteer, understeer, oversteer. Very quick once again, down through the bridge. Down to third here, kind of a tricky turn to get all of the speed you would want. Because you go just a little bit past the threshold of the grip, and it's a wild ride. Oh, easy. Too hard on the brakes there. Too hard on the brakes, but not enough brakes. Isn't that something? So we gotta brake earlier into there. Should be okay. Well, ruin the next lap. Plenty of power to get out of here and up to speed. I would like to make at least one clean lap though. Give this car some justice. I'm not really sure what it is about this game, but I'm really enjoying it as a time trial kind of atmosphere right now. More so than the actual door-to-door racing. Could be because of the lackluster multiplayer that it has right now, but the AI is pretty good, but like I said, I just enjoy the time trial stuff a little bit more. Keep it in third this time. Oh, easy go. Oh, man. So quick to go around. You really gotta predict when it's gonna do that. Pretty challenging. Nice run onto the front stretch this time. Because we need more speed going into turn one. That's what we need. That's probably not what we need. But speaking of multiplayer, I've been noticing it's been getting less and less populated to try and find races. And someone I follow, Kurt, was like trying to organize people on Twitter to try and find races because he just wanted to try it out. And I was trying my best to try and help, but I couldn't because by the time by the time I would read the tweet and get into the game, the 5-minute booking period would already be over. And a lot of people have mentioned that the whole booking thing just does not work for pickup racing. It makes sense for like league stuff where you organize people together, everybody be here at this time. For normal, just everyday racing online, it doesn't work. And good news there is that they are working on a pickup style mode in multiplayer, so you'll be able to join the race whenever you like, and they're just kind of quick succession races rather than the full process that it is right now. So I'm looking forward to that in the future, and we'll probably do... That was no here. We'll probably do more multiplayer once that update comes out. I have noticed that the mods and everything do work in multiplayer, and I've seen a lot of people using them, which is surprising. It's good to see that they're supporting the mods very well. Because they're still working on core game elements, so the content that they release for it is pretty far and few between. Alright, so I guess I'm getting a good lap here. Good feeling about this one. Almost max speed down here. Down to third. Trail brake, trail brake. A little bit of brake correction there. Oh. Lost some speed coming out of the turn, but we didn't lose the car. third. Alright, down to second. Drives so much better out of the turn than it does into the turn. Which, like I've said, is very surprising for how much power this thing makes. Pretty good so far. This turn's one you can really throw it away quickly, though, and not too bad, but I could have gotten way more speed. It's another spot where you could probably almost leave it in third. Let it bump up against the limiter. Alright, down to second. Long on the brakes. Find the apex, there it is. Give it gas, get it out of here. And get to the line. I felt like a pretty good lap. Should be a 146. 146.8. Very pleased with that. That's a pretty good little lap for this car, this track. So yeah, definitely very impressed with it overall. Extremely fun to drive. Wouldn't be a very competitive car to have side-by-side racing with, but that's okay. Sometimes it's nice just to have a challenge, you know, just a personal challenge of going out and doing time attacks, that kind of stuff, or even set up a race where, you know, it may not be all side-by-side racing, but you still have the adrenaline going of just trying to finish the race. That can be just as enjoyable as side-by-side racing. I definitely will be looking to see how this car improves in the future, how they dial it in to maybe get the physics a little bit more stable. Like I said, in that braking and mostly the straight line is the weird part where it's real floaty along the track. See how that gets dialed in and see how it improves in the future. And if it does, trust me, I will be driving it more and showing it off. But for right now, I want to change gears a little bit because I had a request to show off, or at least show, what the drag racing in Assetto Corsa is like. And I personally have not really messed with it hardly at all. So we'll explore it together. Alright, so here we go in a Assetto Corsa drag racing challenge. This is one of the special events that is available. There's about 6 of them. I went and played through one just to kind of learn how the drag racing works in this game. It's not everything you might desire in a drag racing sim, but it is a workable system that it has some entertainment value, but it could definitely be improved, and we'll go over that as we go here. But we are in a BMW M3 GT1, I believe, going up against the Z4 GT2 or 3 car. Can't remember. These are the cars it gives you. You don't have any options. You can change the setup, which I will work on a little bit. We'll give it as little fuel as we can possibly handle. Probably 2 liters would be plenty. It's only a quarter mile. We don't want any spoiler or wing. And I think that should do it for now. Alright, so here you go. This is how it's set up. You don't have to tree yourself or anything like that. It lines you up. Oh, this car has paddle shifters. Oh, well, losing this race. Well, that should make it even easier than the one I did previously, which was with a regular gearbox. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Of course it has paddle shifters. Oh, good stuff. Oh, we're not doing the quarter mile. What are we doing, half mile? Let's see, yeah, 1,000. Oh, are we going all the way? No, yeah, we're doing the half mile. Or 1,000 meter, I mean. Okay, well, that was botched. Let's give that another try, huh? Alright. Okay, this looks right. Yeah, the last one, something was not right with the way that one was set up. We were starting back in, like, the pit box for some reason. But now we're up here at the tree. little bit different trying to launch with paddle shifters. The tree is not very realistic to drag racing. It's set up on a random timer instead of, say, like an N-tray or an iron tray style tree where the lights come down at the same speed every time. So you kind of lose out a little bit on part of the challenge of drag racing, is trying to get your timing perfect. When it comes down on a random tree, the best you can do is kind of just really pay attention and hope you're right whenever it goes green. It would definitely be better with a standard tree that comes down at a certain rate, and you have to try and hit it perfect every time. This does not seem to work that way. It's very hard to get a good tree. No, I started a little bit far behind this time, but this car has a little bit more speed in it. Quarter mile, he would have had me. So there we go. Pretty easy. Nothing real dramatic happening. In fact, I can't see the trees, a little bit of a problem. Maybe I'll go ahead and finish this one out, and I'll see if there's any with a regular gearboxed car. That was really late. But still, pretty much no problem. Oh, no, he pulled me. Did I get him before the line? Yeah, this car's got a lot more top end. No, I think he got me. Yeah, 2 and 2. All I have to do is get six wins, and that's gold in this challenge, though. It's like the exact opposite of the drifting challenges, which are absolutely impossible to get medals on. These are probably a little too easy. That was better, but not great. Like I was saying, when you have a random tree like that, the best you can do is wait for the green. You can't really predict it. Alright, there's bronze. Silver. And gold. Alright, so I'm back to the first challenge that I've actually already completed, because this seems to be the best use of the drag racing with an actual regular gearbox. So you really gotta match your revs right. These cars are a little bit more evenly matched. He's actually gonna take me this time. And it's on a quarter mile setup instead of the half mile. So yeah, he pretty much destroyed me there. It actually took me quite a few tries. I would say 4 or 5 attempts at the 7 races you get in order to win this one in gold. So yeah, definitely more challenging. Oh, red lighted there. It's just gonna take us out. Let's try it again. You notice how it moved us up now to the regular line, so that's a little bit buggy. Seems to start you in the pit box your first run. Not perfect. But I'm right in line with him if I hit my shifts right. Yeah. That was better. Still not a great reaction time though. Go back. So I think I want to hang it around 6,000 is about its happy point to launch at. Yeah, there's a lot more to think about and do with a car that's got street tires on it and has a regular transmission instead of paddle shifters. I should probably just be flat shifting actually. I think he's going to get me. I don't know. Yep, 1 and 3. So he did indeed claim victory there. It's so hard to predict these starts. See, it comes down in a normal order there, but now it's on the green light. It's just completely random. That was terrible. Terrible, I say. This could be more fun in multiplayer, where you have a little less predictability on your competitor's part. The AI pretty much seems to run the same time every time, and they predict the light pretty much the same way every time as well. So as a multiplayer mode, it could be a little bit more interesting. Pretty similar, I would say, to the drag racing and Lift for Speed, which was never very popular, but there was servers out there that did it. Another close one. No, he got me again. Crap. Alright, we gotta make a comeback here. Oh, red light. Not gonna make a comeback that way. Alright, and there we go. I can see how well I kind of predicted it that time. But it could have easily bit me. A 0.8 reaction time is about as good as I've ever gotten. And that's not very good in the world of drag racing. Alright, 2 and 6. Just for science, we'll finish this one out. For science! Not great. Oh, even worse. That's not going to get us anywhere. I don't know if I could even... Yeah, probably. Just rev match it. 2 and 7. So we lost. We lost terribly. So there's drag racing. If anybody was curious about it, I know there was a couple people out there that wondered what it was like. That's what it is. Could definitely be improved. They could have it where you have to stage yourself. Burnouts could be in the game where you have to go through a water box and do that kind of stuff. I highly doubt any of that will ever get added to the game. I think this is just kind of one of those things where, like, well, we have the cars and a track would be easy to make. Why don't we just put a simple little drag racing thing in? So this is probably, in my opinion, is probably all the drag racing will ever be in this game. But if they were interested in improving it, there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. But that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Race with Cone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.